baking show, teaching you things you don't need or you already know. Today we're gonna make gluten-free waffles, and the fun part about this is that I don't have all the ingredients I'm supposed to have, so I'm gonna completely substitute all the ingredients and see what happens. Okay, so the first ingredients are 1 cup almond flour and 1 cup oat flour, and I don't have either one of those. So what I'm gonna do is I took 1 cup of rolled oats. They're gluten-free rolled oats. And I just put them in a food processor and I ground them up, and they're not super fine. I mean, I wouldn't call this flour, but I'm gonna try it. I think for waffles it'll be totally fine. It's flour-like, yeah. And then the second ingredient, instead of the almond flour, which would make it delicious, I'm gonna use buckwheat flour. I think that's gonna be a nice hearty flour. It would be better if I had a nut flour, but I don't, so we're just gonna go for it. Then to that, we're gonna add 4 tablespoons of baking soda, 2 tablespoons of sugar, 1 teaspoon of salt, and then we're gonna whisk that all together. I think that's everything, yeah. I whisked all that. This is why I mostly like to make bread. You just use flour, salt, water, some yeast, it's all good. All right, next we're gonna add our wet ingredients. So they asked for 1/4 cup of, what did they ask for? I think sunflower oil. I don't have that. Canola oil is totally fine. 2 eggs, which I do have, and by the way, these eggs are from Firefly Farms, and the inside of them is even beautiful. It's sort of olive green on the outside, and the inside is a pale blue. So pretty. These ones are actually white inside. Anyway, okay, so I'm gonna whisk that together in I had to use canola oil. And then they asked for 1½ cups of almond milk. Don't have that. I had some soy milk, but I didn't have enough. So 1½ cups. Mine is a combination of like a cup of soy milk and 1/2 cup of coconut milk. Totally be fine. Okay, and to that we are going to add a teaspoon of vanilla extract. Now you can use almond extract if you like that better. I don't have almond extract, so we're just gonna use vanilla. And one of my favorite recipes says you should always have a running over teaspoon of vanilla extract in your recipes. Makes it taste better. So I'm gonna add those wet ingredients to my dry ingredients. And I'm gonna just get all that goodness out. And then after I mix this, we have one more ingredient, secret ingredient. The recipe calls for a combination of ground flaxseed and ground chia seed. Now, I think if you don't have those ingredients, then you have to find another recipe, because I think those are actually pretty important. So I'm just gonna mix this all up, and it is, as they predicted, pretty soupy. So what you do is you take, how much? 1 tablespoon of chia seeds and 3 tablespoons of flax seeds, and you grind them together. So I'm using an old coffee grinder that is designated for spices only. We're going to add that to our batter, and let's dig all that out, because that's going to be the good stuff. And then, there we go. And then the chia seeds, if you've never done anything with chia seeds, they're, okay, we got to do it. Ch-Ch-Ch-Chia. It is actually the same thing. But chia seeds don't really have a lot of flavor, but what they do is they create thickness and texture, and so they actually absorb moisture, and they make a nice texture. So we're gonna let this sit for a little while so the chia can do its thing, and then I'll be back with you in a minute and we're going to cook them up and see if they're any good. Okay, so we're back and we let the batter sit for, I don't know, about 10 minutes. You could actually refrigerate it at this stage and let it sit in as long as you want. But I'm gonna go ahead and put it on my waffle iron, which I think is an antique. It may be 30 years old. I don't actually know how long I've had it. Can't remember not having it, so it's pretty old. So we're gonna just let that cook, and I think it's gonna take about 10 minutes on this waffle iron. I had one that I made a minute ago, so I already put some butter on it. I'm gonna add some real maple syrup, because that's my favorite, and taste it. This is the first taste test of this not real recipe. It's totally a pretend recipe, so I'll tell you how it tastes. It tastes healthy. Well, I would definitely eat it. It's gluten-free, so that's a plus. I will make them for my son. It would be better if it had almond flour, but you know, you do it what you can, and it's not bad. So it's all pretend, so just try it.